Good morning. On my way to work. Talking about addictive quality is just kind of a expansion or expanding horizons thought. And my interpretation has always been what if it disrupts your normal human existence or creates an anxiety, something you cannot live without, and it is very detrimental to your health, bring it on. It is an addiction. That's by all means and definition. There's something to be said, though, about what our society now has become. And it's been noticed. There are studies that have been shown what the phone, what computers have done to our brain, to our way of thinking. I used to know people that would get up in the morning and turn the TV on or turn music on, that they have to have that on in the background. And we could say, okay, that's fine, but you don't do that if they don't have that stimulus on the base level or in the background or however you want to view it. They used to have a hard time. Now, you can call it a comfort zone. You can call it a comfort level. Technically, it's not hurting them. Say as an addiction to a substance would do. But isn't it an addiction? Just the same. If we were going to be truly going down this road, man was born in silence. Man was born in nature. And anything beyond that they have control over, and I mean control meaning they could turn the switch on or off, walk in or out of, live without or with, brings them down a different path. Question is whatever they are doing detrimental or adding to their anxiety, adding to their downfall as a person, as a human? That's where my line is always drawn. I could go out and go camping and be one with nature and silence and enjoy it. Some people can't. But if I was to all of a sudden constantly be doing that, would that be an addiction? Let's swing the pendulum the other way. Or that I like working outside all the time in my own yard or whatever the situation is. I'll go back to the original concept. We have the addictions all over the place. It's no wonder that we have things like OCD, ADD, ADHD, and they've blown up completely, especially in our culture, since in the past 25, 30 years. And we're diagnosing people the way that those parameters show. We're diagnosing them that way, and and saying, God, we must have had this all along. Well, there is something to be said about it being nurtured, I'll say it that way, by our societal driven mechanics. Some of them. If you're walking around back in the day and you had a watch on your phone, you're always looking at the time, always looking at the time, always looking at the time. Okay? To stay in that comfort zone. You've gotten to the point that you have to live by that second. I know people that are this way. That literally, because of military or whatever, they've literally lived this way. And any of those kind of things that hem me in, I'm aware of. No different than being on any social platforms or so. Okay? If it becomes a problem where it disrupts your normal behavior, where it alters your normal behavior, and like what I said before, where it is your downfall, or it definitely is something that is harmful to your healthiness. Welcome to the addiction quality. That is the addiction quality that you do not want. And technically, the person that has an anxiety and has a really hard time going about their normal course of the day because they need to have that TV on, or at 12:30 they need their soap operas, or at, pick a behavior. The question is how far does it drag our human senses into a hole? I'll leave it by saying this on alcohol addiction, which I've known something in my family. And one thing that I knew in our family was a clarification at an early age. And that clarification was, yes, there's people that are social alcoholics that have to go out every Friday, Saturday night, whatever it is. But when you see a person that wakes up in the morning and is shaking for that next fix, whatever it may be, that becomes, that in my mind, and I'll never forget seeing it time and time again, that becomes a factor. And these people led quote unquote normal lives. So how far back to the basics do you want to go? I will end by saying we are all born into silence and nature, or natural sounds. Got nothing but love for you. Have a great day.